Okay. Welcome back to the Pipeline and People podcast. Today I'm joined by Brian Lemmings, founder of 80-10-10. Brian works with CIOs, COOs, and PMO leaders in tech-enabled organizations, especially in finance, healthcare, and insurance, helping them turn chaotic project environments into real business results. Brian, I'm very excited to have you here. Could you kick us off with a quick look at your background and, why'd you start 80-10-10?
Yeah, I'm excited to join today, so I appreciate the asks. 80-10-10 was the brainchild of um, 7 to 8 years in teaching middle school and high school, moved into the business world as I started having kids, started at the very, very bottom of the business world, understanding production control, which is more on the operational pieces of did files go from A to B, and then moved from there and had some really great leaders and great managers. I said, hey, you should probably be a project manager. And then so took that, began to learn that and take that on. My teaching background helped a lot in that. I said, getting people to do things they don't really want to do. That's teaching. It's also project management. Working through those pieces, did that for 20 years. And in 2025, started to get a tickle to go, hey, why don't you go out on your own and do your own thing to step away from the corporate world? And I was given the opportunity in February to do that from a corporate riff. And have not looked back since the last almost to the day 12 months ago, started 80-10-10 and have been going strong, learned so much and continue to learn every single day by owning my own business, but that's not the world I was in ahead of starting it this last year.
Well, happy anniversary, I guess.
Yeah, appreciate it. Yeah.
That's fascinating. So before we kind of get into what I actually want to talk about, why don't you tell me what your first year has been like? Some of the struggles or things you might not have seen coming, when running
Yeah.
your own business.
No, I've done entrepreneurship. I've built PMOs. I've built service departments inside or service organizations inside corporations, inside small businesses. But that was on somebody else's nickel. That was something we had to get done, right? We had the alignment or the strategy from the top level executive said we want to do this, so I helped build those pieces. This was going out and doing it on my own, so learning and understanding just the marketing side, the sales side, what was the client profile when you go after understanding what ICP and all the new acronyms I had to now learn for that, for this new world of entrepreneurship and building a business live. Spent a lot of time thinking I was going to do A, B, and C, and then realized I'm fighting. Why am I fighting an uphill battle to do something that I'm not really prepared to do? And so did a lot of niching down to understand, okay, where does the world that I fit in? Where have I been the last 20 years? And what is the language that I speak that others at that same level speak? So just really understanding who I wanted to help serve and been able to do ups and downs. I've rebuilt my web page 3 or 4 different times. I redid it in the last week or so. This time I had somebody do it for me, so it's much better than what it was when I tried it through WordPress, and rebuilt what the organization, or probably transformed what the organization, what my business is, what 80-10-10 is going after in that same time period 100 different times. So I've landed with the new branding, the new web page. I've really landed in the area that I'm the most comfortable, and I know I can do the most good in helping organizations move forward and get the project delivery underway.
Yeah, I definitely know the struggle. I've kind of down the same road there. I'm not quite a year yet, but
Okay.
coming up on it soon.
Yeah.
So in your email, you kind of mentioned your process, the 30, 60, 90 days, and we're going to cover that. But has anything kind of changed since then? Because that was a while ago.
Yeah, no, everything's the same. The guts of the organization of what I do and how I do it is the same. It's more of how do I show that to everybody else, right? So the internal 30-day clarity, the 30-day, 90-day, and the 6-month, each of those offers and each of those way of providing support to companies is still there.
So if a friend or relative came up to you and said, Brian, what do you do? How do you kind of explain it to them?
Yeah, so the easiest way to explain it that I've found is I just go back and in that conversation and say, okay, have you been in an organization where everybody's running around? This is more from a corporate perspective, but also works with small businesses. Everybody's running around. The executives are trying to get things taken care of, but they don't know, they don't know where things are. We were started a project the project is underway. When is this supposed to end? I don't have any idea. Well, who's leading it? I'm not really sure. We tagged Sally to do this, but she also has 6 other jobs she has to get done. Do you have organizations or do you have projects that are going because it's the FOMO, right? We have to do AI because we want to do AI because everybody's doing it. Well, what do you want to do with AI? Well, we're not sure, but our competitors are doing it, so we have to do it. Anything that has to do with an organization or a business that just is not able to move effectively ahead, costing the leaking money, the leaking resources, leaking time. I help fix that. I help, for the intro, I help CIOs and COOs specifically. So within the technology organization, so what business unit or the technology or an organization itself, I help them to organize that. What are we trying to get done? What do we want to get done? So that intake of work that has to be done, and then structure what is it going to look like as we move forward, going ahead? How do we make sure we're doing the right things? How do we make sure that they're on the right track? And then how do we make sure that what we're trying to solve is the actual problem we're trying to go after, right? We said we're going to do and bring in a new ERP system, or we said we're going to go and change from on-prem to the cloud. Well, why are we going after? So going after the strategy from those pieces starts at the very, very beginning and then works its way down from a structure piece. So, the easiest thing is when looking at organizations today and businesses today is to go in and find out where those problems lay. And then I help identify those challenges, really tied down to, or really drilled in on the root causes. What is where's that main pain point coming from? Because I call it Kill the Spider. I have a guy from college that I know wrote a book called Kill the Spider. Part of that storyline was we keep wiping away the cobwebs, right? The result of what the spider is, but we're not going in and actually identifying what that root cause is, what that spider is. So we go in and we kill that spider, but then that gets rid of the cobwebs, right? That gets rid of those other pieces. What I want to do is I want to go in and I help organizations that are, again, leaking time, leaking money, leaking resources, are not hitting the goals they want to hit, aren't growing they want to grow, and looking at that delivery system, improving it, building it, or just, like I said, improving and tweaking it to so that the results are there. Because we're finding millions of dollars of just sort of wasted, millions of dollars of bloat. People are getting fired, right? It's not all a result of this new technology moving ahead. It's that structural piece that's not allowing them to do that. So, 80-10-10 is here to bridge that gap between this is what we want to do, the strategy, and this is what we're actually doing, the operations, so that PMO, that 80-10, there to bridge that gap for those organizations.
Okay, great. And why do you think that is, that, people are just putting Band-Aids on things or not addressing the root cause problem, right? Because the CIOs and COOs, they're very high level people. They should be able to kind of understand this is the problem, this is what's causing it. Just do that. It'll work for now.
So I've lost the last probably 5 seconds. So ask your question again.
Okay, so I was saying, why do you think it is that these CIOs and PMO leaders are, what did I say? I worded it pretty well the first time. Why do you think it is that these kind of CIOs and COO leaders are just going with the Band-Aid fix or addressing the symptoms instead of, the root cause? Like, they're very high level people. They kind of have to be looking from top down, what's the problem? What's the solution? Not just how can we avoid the cobwebs?
Yeah. I think that the biggest driver is, I think it's probably 2 or 3-fold. One it's what I mentioned from the AI, just as an example of the AI. It's the FOMO. It's we have to do something because everybody else is doing it. Or isn't this really neat? It's that flashy, let's go after the new flashy and go after those pieces. I think that is a driver of where we are, but that all sits, go back to Kill the Spider, that all sits into the world that we sit in today, which is, and in the 90s, they called it VUCA, right? It's the volatility, uncertainty, complex, and ambiguity. I think that world that we sit in, the world we're in today, is moving so quickly from a technology perspective, is moving so quickly from I think it's moving further away from the people at the center of change management, of project management. Like, why are we doing something? Is moving moving so fast to the right that we have to move backwards a bit left to then understand that no matter what we do, at our core, a business is, we're selling to people, right? We're not selling robot to robot. We're not there yet. We're not the Jetsons. Like, we're not at that part yet. But the vision of where we want to go and that fear of that uncertainty of how fast we're going to get there. I think people just want they want it fast, right? They expect you to order it and get to your door in 5 minutes or less, or 30 minutes or less, right? And they take that from a business perspective. What I'm seeing is that they're taking that personal, what I do at home, that non-business, oh, I can go on my phone and I can order something fast, or I can get on Amazon and get it tomorrow. They take that and expect that in the business without having the support and structure there to really move it ahead that way. I think that it's, again, the world that we're living in today of always change. It's chaos, and they're trying to put some structure to it, but they have to move so quickly that they're not able to do that. The other option of that, the flip side of that is they're so stuck in what they were doing, and now there's a bigger gap to get where they want to be. And so now they have technology debt that is, they spend more money on keeping old systems moving forward than getting rid of a new, or getting rid of an old system to get a new system in. Or we want to put AI in it, but all of our data is a complete mess, or we don't know where our data is, right? It's that piece to it. And so they have to then build and restructure strategically how they're going to move forward. And then they go, okay, well, let's go do it. Well, 80% of your company is focused on operational pieces. 10% is focused on the keeping the light, or not keep lights on, but the running the business, right? Which is different than keeping the lights on. And then you have this other 10%. Well, that 10% can't change the rest of that, right? So it's getting that understanding of the world we're in is chaotic. We're trying to move ahead as fast as we can. I want to move ahead as fast as we can, but my system, my technology, my people, they're not ready for it yet. And it's bringing them along that pathway that is causing the biggest headache or the biggest concern, I think, for businesses today.
Yeah, I did some consulting for arguably one of the largest banks in the world, and
Okay.
let me tell you, their data, like the infrastructure there is run on Excel sheets, and it's just
Yes.
so bad. And
Yeah.
you go in with your fresh perspective, and you're like, oh my God, like we could do this, we could add this reporting, we could do that, we
Yeah.
could do all of this, and they're like, okay, well, let me talk to this guy. No, let me talk to that guy. No,
Yeah.
let me talk to that, and then just
Yeah.
nothing ever changes.
Right.
Um,
Yeah, that
sorry,
was the
what were you gonna
biggest
say?
eye opener for me, was moving. So I've been in small businesses, I've been in the larger corporations, and the biggest surprise to me, naively going in to the large corporate, was, oh, they're large corporate. They know what they're doing. Like, everybody's on the same page. How else could you not be a billion plus organization? And then you get in and go, oh, yeah, there's so many silos, right? There's so many disagreements. It's so, I'll say, political within that organization. They'll never get it done until you have a reason to, and that reason sometimes takes longer to get there.
Yeah, and sometimes it's a problem, as the reason.
Yeah.
And that's when things go bad, and then it's a rush, and people are working overtime. And anyway,
Yeah,
so when
yeah.
you first,
That's what I'm going to fix. Like, I want to fix at the operations level, right? Let's go in and get that taken care of. I have no desire to do anything other than to help us be better tomorrow than we were today. What is the goal you need? What is the problem you're trying to solve? What is the challenge you're trying to go after? Okay, good. Is that what is impacting these 5 things? Well, let's go look. Let's understand what that is. Let's just fix it. Like, let's take the step. Let's make sure everybody's aligned to it, right? Because you have to have the leadership aligned. You can't start from the grassroots to fix these really big problems. Ideas may come from the grassroots, from the bottom of the organization, the doer, the hands-on keyboards people, but the leadership team has to have that conversation as well and be on that same path, or it does not ever change.
so how do you typically approach it then? Because how do I word this? Leadership often doesn't see or care about operational problems like that,
Yeah. Well, that's why I think going in and saying, hey, my conversations so far have been understanding where the cobwebs, wasted spend, right? Project delays, not knowing start and end dates. I mean, really basic stuff. I spoke with a CIO a number of years ago. I came in, I was having a conversation and said, well, how many projects do you have going on? I don't have any idea. So that's a problem. So communication, well, which ones are the top priority? Well, we all just do them. All right. So you're understanding all these different cobwebs of where things are, delays, work teams. My having conversations and understanding from that leadership of what the problems that they're feeling, and then having conversations with the operational side to understand what they're feeling, and then going back and so it's assessing the situation. It's listening and hearing the same 10 problems that many of these same companies are having, right? Understanding that it's again, wasted spend, project delays. There's failed projects, where we're going to call a failed project. There's delays. We just can't get things done, right? That what I began to recognize is that every level is having those, but the decision makers are at the top, and they just see them. They see the business is a bit different. So where's that impact for them? And then having a conversation. Once having that conversation, you go, okay, I understand where you think the problems are. That's where that 30, 90, 100, and then the 6 month, that's where that came from, right? Is let me go in and just do a quick discovery. Let's understand what the actual, let's do an assessment or a clarity check is what I want to call it, to understand where you are. And it's, let's just do that first. And then we come back and go, here's all those challenges, here's the problems. And let's begin looking at what the core to that, what the core challenge is. Let's kill that spider, right? Here's your list of cobwebs. Let's go after that.
Okay, that makes sense. And why is that kind of 3-stage structure, part of like one larger engagement, or is it kind of gates that your clients get through? Like, hey, let me in for 30 days. I'll tell you what the problem is, and then we're going to do this, and then in 6 months we're going to do that.
Yeah, it is. The 30-day, they're all standalone. Like, so I can come in and just do a 30-day assessment. Let's just take a look. And it's 30 days because I want to talk to the executives, right? I don't want to talk to the people who are feeling everything, because their view and that top level view are not the same. So let's go in, let's get a conversation going to understand, and then meticulously writing down what those challenges are as they're identified, so we can go and define, okay, here are the top 5 actual challenges. Here's your core component to it. So that 30 days is a standalone piece, but it gets carried over into the 90-day and gets carried over to the 6 month, right? But it is at its core understanding what those challenges are. The 90-day is take the 30-day information, that similar assessment, same assessment to go in. And that 90-day is, okay, here's all those pieces that you said. Here are the quick wins we decided to go after. And here's what I've easily just, or simply been calling a PMO playbook. Here's a playbook and how we address those. Let me hand that over to you. And then you go and take on, or your PMO leader goes on and takes on that delivery. Here's the changes that you go after. Here's what we're going after. And here's an anticipated timeline that you guys come up with. So it's a 90-day come in, get the groundwork started, get some foundation pieces started, hand it over, and then you go and implement it yourself. Many times those clients already have a PMO that's in place, and we're just helping that conversation relationship, or I'm just helping conversation and relationships between the executive owners and that PMO leader. Relationship stronger, but that's the answer, right? It's that having that conversation, it goes both ways, that makes sure that the strategy is in place, operations in place. Again, that bridging takes the 6 month is, let me actually go in and do it for you. You're either building something that is brand new, right? You've not had it before. You may have a enterprise PMO that focuses on a stuff, the really transformation stuff, but this business unit needs to have the PMO that aligns, but does their own thing. So it's really going in. The 6 month is doing the 30-day, building out that PMO structure, building out that playbook that fits your organization or fits your division, and then hand-holding and making sure everybody's on board as we go through it. So it could be building out standards, it could be building out templates, whatever your organization needs, getting things ahead of putting a system on top, ahead of getting a technology on top, so building that foundational pieces to it. So that is a PMO built for you. Like, I come in, I have the conversations, I build the PMO based on the 30-day, based on the 90-day, and then we hand that over to you at the end of 6 months. Could maybe go to 12 depending on the size of the organization, but typically I want to fit it within a 6-month time period. Just have everybody aligned. There's some fractional type work in there because of getting either you have a PMO or you're building something brand new. Let's get the right person in charge hired so that when I leave, we hand over, everybody's on the same page and they take it to that next step. There's some engagement PMO. Let's teach the lead. Sometimes project manager or accidental project managers, like you're good at operations, go be a manager. Well, that same thing happens in project management. Oh, you're good at leading this, come be our PM by definition, but they don't know what they're doing, right? Certification can be okay. I like certification from a knowledge and from a jargon perspective, not necessarily from a step 1, step 2, step 3 perspective, but it's building some enablement and standards for those PMs. I like to build a standard from the PM side or whoever's in that PMO. So it could be BAs, business analysts, it could be project managers, it might be program managers, so depending on the size. So building a structure around what they're doing, how they interact as a team within the PMO, and then how does that leadership work with the group themselves. Is built that 6-month to 12-month engagement. It's a much larger engagement, and there's a lot more, let me come beside you and help build it versus just hand it down to you. Go, all right, go put this in place. So
it's implementation, right? That always takes more.
It's the teacher part of me, right? I want to make sure everybody are okay. Are we good? Are we learning what we need to learn? Can we move forward? Yep. All right. Let's get you going.
Yeah. How have you found selling that? Do people often go through the entire process when you're reaching out to a new prospect? Is it you just give me the 30 days?
The easiest way in is the 30 days. I did not really understand new to entrepreneurship, right? And new to selling and new to marketing. I want to fix it all. That's just my core. Let's just go fix it. And then I began to recognize from my own experience of building a PMO a couple different places or rebuilding one a couple different times, that discovery piece, even if I'm sitting inside that organization, the discovery part is still really important because it's about I use the discovery side, that 30-day, that assessment as let's get and understand the executives, let's understand the stakeholders and start bringing them alongside at the same way or moving along with having them come along the entire process. You can't do this job well by yourself, right? You're not a team of one. You can't do everything. So you have to work with people. People are the core of all of it. So I have focused on the 30 days. The engagement I'm in right now is a 6-month engagement. And then I have a prospect that I'm speaking with getting another 6-month going. They all want it. They want all of it to be done. And so I'd love to sell some of these because that is a good way to get in and go, okay, here's your outline. Here's your pain points. Here's the cobwebs. Let me know how you want to go after it. Right. So there's 30 days more of an advisory, almost more of an advisory role. I'm an operations guy, so I like the advisory piece, but I want to then take it to that next level to make sure that they're doing it, right? Making sure that they're able to do it and setting the stage for that. So I've been focusing on the 6-month, but then as I have the conversation, it's like, well, I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this today, or we don't have the time to do this today. Okay, let's work ourselves backward and go, well, I have this 30-day easy way in, clarity check. Let's just take a look at where you are and go after that way. And then you tell me which way you want to go. Do you want to go a 90-day or do you want to go to 6-month? A lot of conversations have been immediately leading to let's go 90 or let's go 6-month. They go, well, I don't have the time to do it by myself, right? You can build it for me. Let's go do that one. Let's go do the 6-month one. When I say build it for you, it is I'm inside the system I'm inside your network or your organization with you, talking with stakeholders, understanding their challenges. Right. I'm there. I'm not on the side and is delivering. Here, go do this. Here's your 7 steps to a PMO. That would never work in any organization. So the 6-month has been the one opportunity that most businesses are going after, which was surprising to me. I really thought that 30-day, let me come in and take a look at it and show you the problems has been or would be the top conversation, but it's not. It's we are in trouble and we need somebody to come in and help with that.
Yeah, and it's not just for a PMO, right? You could hand a step-by-step, this is exactly how you solve all of your problems, and right. They still, to any problem, and they still, no, we can't do it.
No, and it goes back to it goes back to the conversation. We don't really know what we don't know what we're working under what we're doing. So who would go and do that? Our PMO is only or our project management office is only a compliance piece, which is necessary for some parts of some organizations, right? So check the box, right? You have those box checkers, and that's important. They have to have those components, and there's some strength to that authority, that very strong. You have to do these 17 steps to do this, but you have to have that conversation around that in order to put that in place, right? So I've built them, though they're very authoritarian. You do these 17 steps and do not waver. You have to do these. It goes from this gate to this gate, and that's just you go ABC. That's how it is. I don't like those a lot because I think it doesn't factor in humans, but I understand why they're necessary. I like, let's build guardrails going from this direction. I don't care how you go in between it, but we're going this way. That's been helpful for many more organizations that way than to go just very stringent for that. I think our world the stringent world is important in some areas, but I think where we're going with the technology, I mentioned the AI, from the AI perspective, from a technology perspective, from a project versus product conversation, project management is dying. It's not dying. It's just not talked about nicely. That conversation of how, well, now we're all agile versus these other modes of development. How are we going to do that? That world leads to more open. So that framework has to be more guardrail focused versus the stringent step 1 through step 100.
Do you have a hard stop? I know we're a little bit over
I don't.
already.
I've noticed in time. I don't have hard stop right now, and I've got another 10:30 or so.
We're only going to need like 10 more minutes, but anyway. You mentioned AI a few times already in this podcast, and I want to know, how are you using it internally? How are you using it in your clients? How are you recommending it? Like, what have you seen applications for so far?
I'm using AI. I use one or two different tools. Both of them are from a marketing and communication perspective. I've built out different projects or different bots within that to go, let's dump everything inside of it. Here are my frameworks. Here are different methodologies and frameworks from other organizations. PMI is one, the International Business Analysts, those levels. Taking that information and then using it from an email blast, from little newsletters, writing on LinkedIn. It's an assist. I view AI as a tool and only a tool. It's not taking over my brain. It's not like I don't give it everything. It's here's everything, here's an outline, or here's a dump of information from a phone call or from a podcast, and give me the top 5 pieces that I repeated 15 different ways. In this meeting, it would be spider webs, and it would be AI. The top 2 things I've talked about on our call. So I take that information and then I ingest it personally and then go through and write everything else. So I use it as a junior PM or as a junior coordinator, right? From that perspective, I use it from a scheduling meeting. Right? AI can mean lots of different things. So from a market perspective, PMI is the last couple of years, the Project Management Institute here in the US is pushing understanding how AI is going to impact project managers. I think that AI is, like I said, it's just a tool. It is no different than electricity, which has taken over everything, obviously, but it's no different than electricity, no different than a tractor. It's going to impact us. We need to understand how to use it. It will take some jobs because those jobs are set to be, they're operational or they are computational. So for my kids, I've tried to tell them AI is there. You need to learn how to use it, but it's not going to take away humans, right? I am not the AI's taking over the world. That's not me. I say it's a technology that we just have to learn to use and to see where it goes. Project managers are using it for notes, which I think are fantastic. Meeting notes are great. I mentioned already. Using it for, hey, help me get an outline for this specific meeting, or here are my stakeholders. What am I missing when looking at stakeholders from a impact perspective, from a job perspective? So I think anything you can do to help along the edges of getting the work done, I fully support. I don't think it does a really good job in scheduling. Now, some tools have it, but it does a good job in calendar. Like, here's my calendar and schedule, but going across large organizations, um, I, I think people are trying too hard for it to do something they don't want to do. Like, they don't want to do some of the hard stuff. And so they, oh, just let AI do it. So I, I think it's an amazing, I tell my kids it's an amazing tool. Use it, leverage it however you can, but don't let it be your brain. Like, don't let it take over for you, because it does a crap job at that, right? I mean, just all the different, we're still seeing hallucination. We're still seeing lying. Companies don't put your data in public AI tools. Like, don't do that. Don't put your contract in, but then everybody gets you. Like, there's lots of stuff to it that you just have to be careful with.
Yeah, I 100% agree with that whole take. And I want to talk a little bit now about, where are you /80-10-10 now, and where do you want to be in 12 months? What's the plans? Any kind of exciting experiments, big swings? What's 2026 have in store for you?
I'm excited about 2026. I tell my friends and my wife and my kids, like, 25 was just me trying to figure out what up from down. It was spinning around in a cyclone of what was going on. Coming into 26, I'm excited because I'm having better conversations, because I know what I'm offering better, right? I've been able to nail it of what I'm going after to help clients be better today than they were yesterday, right? To gain that clarity, to earn trust, and to deliver a result, as the page says that, right? To help build those systems. So 26, I'm looking forward to helping, a handful of clients. I know that for me, I don't need 35 clients. So I need, to be honest, I need 6. 6 clients is perfect. It's the right number for me to give the balance that I want, or the integration that I want into my life, that, that can help clients be better where they are. I can help family and, all our different goals and stuff that we want to do as well. So 26 is opening some doors that I hadn't had before, which is fantastic, from networking. What I've found out and what I've begun to really focus in on is that relationship marketing, right? Going after the people that I already know and having those conversations. That leads to clients faster than cold calling. That's not my strength. I am a talker, as we've heard from here. And I love people. I love relationships, and I'm trying to be better at that. And so that's where I think the business is going to go. That's my focus, is putting everything into relationships. I'm using LinkedIn a lot. I've used it over the last year, but I'm using LinkedIn now as a, hey, let's build those relationships inside LinkedIn. I'm not doing this because I think you just get more out of relationships, either from when you meet somebody brand new, or from hey, how can I help you do something? Whether that is business related, or that you just need help, you just need a hand to get something else done. So 26 is going to be a fantastic year.
All right. It's very exciting. Well, I think that's a pretty good place to end off on.
Awesome, man.
Thank you so much for joining. If you want to shout out your LinkedIn or your website or anything you got going on right now would be the time.
Yeah, awesome. For my LinkedIn I'm the only Brian Lemmings. And then it's super simple, brianlemmings.com. I've made it easy for everything. You also email me this is going to be a shocker, is brian@brianlemmings.com. So brianlemmings.com is everything that you need from a LinkedIn, or from a website perspective. From a LinkedIn, I search for me on LinkedIn. 80-10-10 is also on LinkedIn, so you can find 80-10-10, and it is spelled out just like you think it is. I won't try to spell it live because I'll mess it up, but 80-10-10 or brianlemmings.com are the 2 places that you'll find me the fastest.
Right. Amazing. Well, thank you so much, Brian. Until next time, this is the Pipeline and People podcast.
I appreciate the opportunity. Thanks.
And cut. Okay. That was great. Thank you.
Yeah, I appreciate the opportunity. Like I said, I listened to some of the podcasts ahead of times. I think you've got a really great podcast. What scared me coming in was the in my head, the non-planning. I'm a PM, right? So I was like, okay, I have a meeting. I understand what you're doing. Here's the outline. I've done 2 or 3 podcasts outside of this, and it has been, let's have that conversation first. So that unknown was perfect, but also was okay, we'll see if we can figure that out or not.
Typically, I do a kind of intro meeting where we cover, exactly what we want to talk about, but I do like to keep it more unscripted if possible, just because it's more authentic and genuine. I don't want this to feel like too much of an interview.
Yeah.
But I think that one went
It's
really well.
conversation based, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. No, I appreciate it. For you guys, for you reaching out and for doing this. This is great. I'm trying to do more of these this year, part of 26 is more podcasts as well. And again, I'm grateful for the opportunity.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks so much for joining.
Yeah.
I'd love to have a quick follow-up in a week or so if you're up for it. See maybe
Yep.
if you could help me out or if there's any areas where I could potentially help you out.
Yeah, no, I think that's great. I was going to ask that. What can I do other than, sharing this podcast or telling how this one goes or other podcasts for you? What are some other ways I can help sort of get the word out for you? And I've got a couple people back in my head. I would listen to your other podcasts. I don't know if you're changing direction in 26 or not, but if it's similar to the other podcasts, I've got a couple people I would recommend that don't do what I do. So they're two different worlds, and one would probably do it. One may do it. I may have to coax. So I think if nothing else, it's good to do. So I am happy to spread the word.
Yeah, absolutely. If you want to send an intro, that'd be great. This will be out in a little bit of time. I do have quite a queue of things that need to be posted. So like if I had to kind of give you a range right now, I'm thinking like first or second week of March.
Okay.
But it is almost February right now, so it's not too far away.
It's Sunday is February.
Yeah. Just it's flying by. Yeah. I mean, other than that, once it is posted, I mean, I will obviously keep you updated and let you know. But just engage with it however you want. Some people choose not to at all. Other people like to repost and comment, and the more you engage, the more views it gets, the more engagements it gets, the more. I've had a couple people come back to me and say that they had someone contact them interested for their services. It's definitely not every time, but
that's great. I think that look forward to hearing it or seeing it. Are you I know it's on YouTube. Are you putting on any other just audio podcasts as well?
I've been thinking about doing that, but typically I put the full podcast on YouTube and my website, and then I upload 5 or 6 clips on Shorts, and then one kind of thought leadership piece on LinkedIn, and that's typically what I do.
Yeah. Okay. I just I've had a couple different. I was actually listening to a podcast the other day, and I don't know how they did it, but from that podcast, I looked down at my phone, and it's through Apple. Looked at my phone, and the video was on it. It's like I wasn't like I don't ever expect any video from an Apple. I was just expecting the sound, and so that threw me off. And so I didn't know if there was anything different or special if you use whatever. I don't know if they charge anything on Apple. It's whatever. I'm thinking of doing just the audio and putting that onto. I think Riverside may do. Does Riverside is it just a studio, or does Riverside do they host a podcast as well?
No, it's just a studio.
Yeah, the first podcast I did, the lady she used Riverside. She leveraged Riverside as well.
Yeah, it's a pretty good platform. It's good for editing, good for the clips.
Good, awesome.
It makes my life a little easier. Plus, I have a couple of video editors that handle most of the heavy lifting.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
But I mean, I'm not going to take up too much more of your time, but why don't we get some scheduled your business and see if there's any areas where you could help me out potentially, or if anywhere where I could step into your business.